Hi Pete, I'm Andy Levis, and I decided to buy this derelict house in Bulgaria for £5 grand. Now, my challenge is to try and renovate this house, turn it into my dream home, for half of what it would cost me to put a deposit down on a UK house. On this video, I'm starting to put a room back together. Woohoo! So yeah, in this video I'll be dabbing the walls in bedroom 1. But before we jump into that, well basically I forgot to do the video on how much the doors and first fix electrics cost. So my plan is, when I get back to England and do the next video, I'll get the BS board back out and we'll put the price of the first fix electrics, price of the new doors. I might as well chuck in the price of the plasterboard and the false ceiling material, and we'll see where we are. Anyway, yeah, let's crack on, start getting some boards on some walls in a very out of square bedroom.
Right then, so in my opinion, it's always best to start at your reveals, especially if you're going to buy a £5 house like me, because the chances are your walls are not going to be flat or square. If you cut your reveals equal size all the way around, then you can just work off your reveal. You may have to pat the wall out a tad, like you're about to see here. Look at this. Look at the depth. I've got to dab that far out to get the wall flat. It's a lot. I'm gonna have to put some packers in, I think.
So another thing you want to do is, basically, if you mark out where each board's going to go, you can then set some packers on the floor, because you want to keep your plasterboard off the floor so it allows for any movement, stops any cracking basically. Then if the floor moves, you can move the plasterboard and cause a cracking in the joints. So I tend to use just strip plasterboard. I've got to use a couple more than a strip in some places here, because the floor runs out about 2 inches. So if you are going to use a feather edge straight edge to mark and score your plasterboards, do not use the feather edge. Use the thick edge to run your blade down, because you will slip and you will cut yourself. Trust me, it happens. So yeah, just use a thick edge to run your blade down.
That sits nicely there. Looks bang to the edge of the door frame. So I really should rip that door frame out first, but I just want to get some boards on to make it look like I've done something.
Before I could start sticking the boards on the walls, I needed to make myself a little homemade tool, and that's the plaster's hawk, because it just makes life a lot easier and quicker. And I couldn't seem to find one over here. So yeah, so let's just have a look at my homemade tool making skills, shall we? So what I'm going to do is I have a big shovel. I'm going to cut the end off and try and make a homemade hawk. It's going to be easier than just scooping out the bucket and trying to get it on.
So there we are, homemade hawk. Boom, boom, boom. Well, see what it's like when it's got a bit of weight on it, but if you want to save yourself another couple of quid, say I've got a machined edge and your tapered edge there, that should be perfectly square. So if we hold that in against the window, then you'll know whether that's square up against the window and the plasterboard, And the square were level. We are cooking on gas. Now, if you want to be really anal, measure the gap from the board to the edge of that lip of the window, so it's nice and equal all the way around.
Also, when you're putting your reveals on, especially if you've got new windows, you probably have expanding foam sticking out somewhere. Always make sure you cut that back, because once you start sticking that board on, it's bound to get in your way and just kick the reveal out. So yeah, just run your blade down it or flick it off with your fingers. But yeah, get rid of the expanding foam.
So basically, these are your back boxes. Plastic, the plasterboard ones, but they're round unlike the ones in the UK, which are square. So I bought one of these, which I think is too small now, looking at it, but it will give us a shape and then we can just tweak it. So I'm going to put that in the drill. This is pretty obvious because I'm at the door frame, but what you want to do is mark down there. So you take the board away and you're sticking your dab on the wall, you know where the edge of the board's going to be.
So once you put the board on the wall, I tend to put the level on it first to see which way you need to give it a whack, basically. And then once you know, give it a tap and away you go. Another good tip for you is to basically, when you're you've got your first board on, just eye down the wall with a straight edge to see whether your wall curves out. Especially in old houses, they can kick out, they can go all over the shop. So you don't want to be dabbing halfway down the wall and then find out the end of the wall sticks out and then you got a curve in your wall. So just sort of eye it through, make sure you got enough room for dab and the plasterboard, and then you're golden.
Yeah, I've just made a mistake, but oh well, I forgot to turn the camera back on after I had a bite to eat. And then I was just doing the next board, cutting my holes for the sockets. Then I'd measured from the wrong side of the board and I cut a hole in the in the wrong place. And I looked at the camera to go, oh no, and I realised I hadn't switched it on. But there's no hiding it from you anyway, does it? But it don't matter, because this is where I'm having the funky thing above the ceiling. There's going to be a drop ceiling, a funky part to the ceiling. I'm having a drop ceiling above the bed with something a bit special. So you won't see this cock up anyway. But yeah. Perfect. And that one there. And then there's that one, which isn't meant to be there. It was that one, but I measured from that side instead. But it happens. But lucky enough, it's in the hidden part of the ceiling, so I'll stick the little round bit back in anyway, just to stop any creepy crawlies coming through, I suppose. It'll work, won't it? Right.
So you see me just lining the straight edge down the wall when I've got the dab on. That's just to check that the dab is going to reach the back of the board, because my walls are literally got bellies in galore. So there's dips everywhere, and if my dab don't touch the wall, then it's just not going to stick. So you can use your square bit of plasterboard again just to check the corners. Make sure your corners are all square. It makes life so much easier, especially when you've got the ceiling to board, your flooring going down. You know, it just makes the next job easier if everything is square. So just don't worry, take your time, but just make sure it's square, because it's just, otherwise it's a knock-on effect and you'll end up just hating life further down the line. Trust me. You may get the occasional little high patch that sticks out, especially in old houses where the walls all over the shop. So it's just a little like bump in the wall. Just knock it out, just chisel it out, and then you'll be good to go over. So I'm about to find out this wall is going to be the bane of my life. It just almost broke me in half. So yeah, this wall runs out 4 inches from one end to the other, and it almost reduced me to tears, not going to lie. I was very, very stressed. There was a very, very lot of swear words coming out of my mouth. So what I had to do to start with, I started putting packers on the wall to build the wall out, but it was getting ridiculous. So yeah, I decided dabbing these packers on to see how we get on. So if I go off here, this will be where the back of my board is. So my dab would need to be that thick, and that is just way too thick. But if you see now, it's only like ½ inch thick down there with that on. So then that side 2 inches. So yeah, basically it's a double packer. I mean that's like really the maximum I'd want to get away with there on this. But yeah, it is what it is. So I decided to give my brain a rest and move on to a different wall, just to try and think about how I'm going to get over how far that wall runs out. It was just driving me insane. I didn't want to pack it out all the way along that far. By the end of the wall it would have been like 4 packers deep. So we decided to give a rest and move on. So I was trying to make a decision here what to do with the windowsills, how high to bring the board up. Because the window's open inwards, I thought there's not going to be able to put anything on the windowsill anyway. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to just plasterboard, have a plasterboard. I'd never recommend doing this, putting a plasterboard on the windowsill, because if you don't ever put anything on the windowsill, it's just going to chip away. But obviously I can't put it from the windowsill because the window is open inwards and the mosquito net's open outwards. So what I'm going to do is just plasterboard the windowsills, and then I'm going to put some like architrave around the window frame, around the edge of the reveals, to make it sort of look more like a sort of a picture frame type looking thing, and go with that. I was praying this board was not going to break. It took all that cutting, I thought, oh no, don't break, please don't break on me. Then I got it to the window and I hadn't even cut the height properly. I hadn't cut the height. So I had to cut the height and then try and get it back up again without breaking it. But we succeeded. It was fine. Yeah, and typical as well, just coming up to near the end, and my homemade hook didn't last the job, so back to the drawing board with making another homemade hook. But we're going to finish this room off with just scooping out the bucket. Just get it done and get home. Should have got a job in a nice gem factory. So this is where I decided to stand there and look at it for ages and think, what the am I going to do? But it was just like, I thought, I can't do it. I can't pack it out that far all the way along. It'd be 4 packers deep by the time I get to the end. So I decided, standing there looking at it for a while is, going to help. So that's what I did. And then I came up with a great solution. Just put a step in the wall. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. It's just like, when your mind just goes into like a brain fog and you just can't think. It was just stressing me out. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do, is basically return it there where that board finishes, more or less, and I'm stepping the wall, take it back tight to the wall, and then yeah, that works out great. So still keep it square, but just a step in the wall. So yes, all worked out good in the end. Just take your time, have a little think. So thanks for watching. If you like what you see and want to see more, hit that subscribe button, give it the thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm back with the BS board.